New Token Shop Buyer's Guide, Pool 3 to Pool 5, Top 20 Free Card Unlocks in Marvel Snap from Cozy Snap. Let's watch it. I'm at 1.5 speed as well.
What's up, guys, and welcome back. As you know, they changed the way you get Pool 3 cards in a massive way in Marvel Snap, and used to release a buyer's guide that you could go and take a look at for the different archetypes throughout the game, and you can decide which cards will be best for you to unlock with your tokens. Now, I've already spoken my opinion plenty of times. That's not what this video is for, and regardless, it looks like this is going to be the path moving forward to acquire Pool 3 cards. So today, we're going to be talking about the top 20 cards that I would use your unlock on. You get one right now. You also get another one in about 9 days, and you get one each and every season. We're also going to break it.
So yeah, they changed it. So instead of you being able to buy Series 3 cards or Pool 3 cards, you get one free per month, which I feel you're going to acquire cards a lot slower.
Get down by archetype and look at some updated rankings for the top Pool 4 and 5 cards. You actually now have the tokens to actually unlock the new cards, and so this will probably be more important than ever. Let's go and kick things off with the top 20 cards that I would...
Whoa, he already just shows all 20, so you could just watch this and leave. Well, number 1 is She-Hulk. Number 2 is Doctor Doom. Number 3 is Sarah. 4, Elektra. Interesting. Interesting. Okay, let's
consider using your free unlock on. There are loads of factors that go into this list, including versatility, unlocking archetypes, and just cards that will help you in Pool 3 much more than others. Now, keep in mind, this list is trying to include everybody's collection, right? Every single collection is different, and we'll jump into that topic a little bit later. Now, starting at number 20, we have Mr. Negative, and some might think this is a little low, and he does give you access to a completely new archetype. But if you don't have some other Pool 3 cards, I don't think you use the free unlock on Negative. Simply put, it's not the easiest deck to climb with, and I think there are better options. However, because you have a lot of the cards you might need from Pool 1 and 2 for negative decks, he is somewhat worth the consideration at number 20.
20 is a lot of cards. I don't think Mr. Negative is very good. He's very inconsistent, so I guess putting him at 20 is fine. You definitely do not want to spend your tokens on him unless you somehow have like everything else that makes a perfect Mr. Negative deck. But yeah, Mr. Negative is not great, right? He's not great.
Now, at number 19, I'm going to cheat a little bit here, and I'm going to mention 2 different 3-cost cards that could arguably both be in this slot. First up is Polaris, that just has insane value and not just the 3-cost and 5 power, but you have the ability to move 1 and 2-cost cards. That means moving things to Space Throne. That means clogging up lanes early. You can move Armor. You can move Sunspot. A very good card with so many different uses that you'll find yourself plugging into different decks. Now, you might think Maximus is the next card, but it's not. It's going to be Juggernaut. I think Juggernaut is going to be a great Arrow replacement. It's a card that I think is vastly slept on and wildly underutilized. You can play it on the last turn of the game opposed to playing it on curve. And trust me, guys, the card is going to win you loads of games because your opponent is simply not going to expect it. Now, dropping from the...
I disagree with this already. I think Polaris should be a little bit higher than this. Maybe quite a bit higher than this. I think Polaris sees more play than even something like a Daredevil. Polaris can almost be slotted into any deck. I know Maximus used to see a lot of play, but there's been a lot less Maximus lately because giving your opponent draw is just generally not a good thing. I do think Polaris should be higher here, probably like top 10 in my opinion. Better than Titania as well. Yeah, I agree with that. You can slot her in almost any deck and she's fine. Juggernaut's fun, and I do think a Juggernaut should be messed around with a little bit more, but per this current meta, he's not too good. But if you're like missing a card and you have a Juggernaut, like slot him in. He's great. He's fun, and he can be very cheeky.
Dropping from the number 1 unlock, Arrow has been nerfed and has dropped severely and is now at number 18 on our list today. Now, she could very well go up on the list, but it's just too early to tell what her use is going to be. She definitely has plenty of viability still, but we're going to have to put her in certain decks, and those decks are going to need other Pool 3 cards. So for the time being, we're going to focus on some other cards that we can utilize outside of Arrow. However, guys, don't let the nerf completely fool you, and I'm not just saying this because I love the card. I think she's still plenty fine in the meta today. Now, number 7...
I think Arrow, it's sad, you know, she was like the number 1. She definitely would have been number 1 before, and now she's down to 18. I think she's only good when played with Wave, and, you know, you can still do Wave into Arrow and Death, or Wave into Arrow, Death, and She-Hulk, or whatever. So it's a learning curve to playing Titania. Yeah, Titania is pretty hard to play, and she's a little bit confusing, definitely. Arrow only good at 5, rarely at 6. She still does counter Galactus, so do keep that in mind if you're seeing a lot of Galactus slotting an Arrow in, if that's what the meta is not a bad inclusion.
17, we have Titania. I know it's a card that scares a lot of people because, well, it can lose you some games, but you can simply put her into zoo decks and you can slot her into just about any disrupt or control deck as well. If you pair her up with Zero, it's a phenomenal priority card and just solid overall. At number 16, we have Arnim Zola. Now, not everybody's as big as a fan of Arnim Zola as myself, but I actually think that he's worth the free unlock just because of the different scenarios and places that you can use him in. If you do plan on getting Shuri, obviously he can work into a Red Skull deck. You can get Taskmaster along with that as well, who I did leave off the list because of the changes. I probably would go with Arnim Zola. Now, at number 15, we've got...
I don't think Arnim Zola is very good. Cozy does love Arnim quite a bit, but if you think about it, Arnim's just like one extra card. He's kind of like a bad Taskmaster in a sense. Is Taskmaster pool 3 or 4 or 2, I mean? Like, why isn't he on this list? He explains in a moment. Zola doesn't work on his own. I mean, Zola's good with like Black Panther. It really depends on your other cards. That's the hardest part about doing lists like this is you try and give a general overview for everyone, but you don't know everyone's personal collection. So it might be like you have the perfect card or you have a really solid like tier 2 deck. You just need Arnim Zola. It's dependent on your collection. And at that point you would buy Arnim Zola, but maybe you don't have the supporting cards for Arnim Zola. Like maybe you don't have Black Panther and you don't have Wong. Like these two go together, right? With the Black Panther and stuff like that. But it's just really hard to judge. And also Titania is good. I think she's better than Arnim even, but I still think Polaris goes above most of these. Wong is interesting, like a Wong going or a Wong on reveal, just classic deck is kind of underappreciated at the moment, underutilized. Location tier list, never.
Wong, who is a card that's going to work and be utilized with the cards you already have in pool 1 and 2. He instantly gives a boost to a lot of decks, and if your opponent's not running Cosmo, he's an easy way to get some cheap wins and learn how to climb the ladder. At number 14, Patriot. And regarding Patriot, he's a little bit tougher to rank than other.
Yeah, if your opponent's not running Cosmo, I do agree that Wong is very good, but I feel like he's still not a fantastic deck, but he's all right. He's good. I don't know if he's worth using your free choice on. Patriot's that high. So Patriot's actually part of, or one of the highest win rate decks still, per statistics. I think lower ranks and like mid ranks, Patriot's very good. Very, very good at beating bots as well. If you're playing against a lot of bots, Patriot is nuts. If you have Mystique, Patriot's cracked. But I do think Patriot's one of the better pickups early because he works with like Squirrel Girl. And if you're missing other cards, like you can just slot in, I don't know, The Thing or Cyclops and stuff like that. So early pickup for Patriot. I think he should be a little higher on the list personally.
Others, some would argue he should be the first card you unlock because he's going to instantly give you a deck if you're just getting into pool 3. Definitely worth the free unlock to get yourself going on the ladder. If you already have things like Doctor Doom, Ultron, or Mystique, he's pretty much an instant unlock. Now at number 13, we've got Zero, and at 12, we have Red Skull, and obviously both of these are going to be great together, but Zero can work with cards you already have in Lizard, or if you do have Titania. Red Skull, of course, is going to be one of the better 5-cost cards now in Marvel Snap because of the way they adjusted his stats. But
Zero is very flexible. Yeah, you can work with Red Skull, but I feel like he's not as important for Red Skull because Red Skull got buffed. But using Zero Atuma, if you have Atuma, or yeah, Zero Typhoid Mary, Zero Lizard, Zero Titania, as he said, they're all very good choices for Zero. So Zero is a very flexible one of the top 1-drops for sure. Zero Maximus, yeah, that's a great. Zero Ebony Maw, very, very flexible. And I think flexible cards like that are really good to like flesh out your collection. And then Red Skull also can almost fit in like any single deck, especially with the recent buffs to him.
But obviously, with Shuri, he's one of the best cards in the game. So if you do have Shuri, he's definitely way higher on the list. Now at number 11, we have Dracula, who used to be much higher on my list, but he's great to plug and play, virtually uncounterable. And guys, he's going to fit into a zoo deck that you can run day 1 of pool 3 if you have the card, because you already have the likes of Infinite, Hulk, and other cards that you can use his ability with. Number 10.
The Dracula dump deck is so cheap. You just need Dracula, really. I mean, I'm running Destroyer and Red Skull in there, and if you have those, they're great. But if you don't have them, there are workarounds, right? Yeah, like you said, like Hulk is good in there, but Dracula is really all you need. And then Khazar, and it's just a zoo deck, and it is so freaking good. We were playing that earlier today, right? We just kept winning, and a lot of people are just commenting on my videos saying they're taking that deck to infinite. So if you are struggling, like to find wins, I think that's a great choice. You do Dracula and you do Dracula dump. My latest video is probably up to date. It's really good. You can put King in there and make it better, supposedly, but it feels fantastic without King as well. No more Hearthstone? No, I play Snap. I'll play Hearthstone if it gets fun again. Dracula should be higher. I think Dracula should be a lot higher, yeah. I think, Dracula dump is way better than people give it credit for.
We've got Daredevil, and arguably I would put him even higher. Now, Daredevil's one of my favorites, guys, because he's going to be great across so many different decks, and as well as battle mode, one of the best cards there. Control is finally back on top in this meta because of the recent nerfs to the Space Stone, so you're not going to really regret your Daredevil purchase. It's a little weird to get used to what decks you put him in, as typically it's not just him you put into the deck. You try to slot in Professor X and others as well. But with the Arrow nerf, I think it makes more sense than ever because of turn 5 and 6 being a lot different than it was before. Now, number 9.
Daredevil's a weird one to me because I feel like he's very flexible. Like, yeah, you can slot him in any deck and he's okay. Or like if you use him with Professor X or Hobgoblin or Gamora, he's very good. But he's just not really used in any like top tier decks at the moment. But I guess this is probably targeted more towards people who are early pool 3 trying to choose a card. And I prefer Dracula over Daredevil, but Daredevil's top 20 for sure. I think Dracula's a little bit higher, maybe top 5 for me.
9, we've got Death, and she's a lot easier to slot in than she was before with cards like Nimrod and the new Wolverine. Definitely a good card that you're not going to regret unlocking early. Now, number 8, we've got Mystique, one of the more versatile cards in the game. She did get a slight nerf recently, but still very good at what she does, and you can copy cards you already have like Devil Dinosaur and Iron Man.
Yeah, so Daredevil's good early. Yeah, if you're like fresh out of pool 3, that's fair. Daredevil's great because you do have all the other good cards that go well with him. Death, is Death this high up? I don't know if I'd choose Death this high up. I mean, as he said, like if you have Nimrod and all that stuff, then Death is pretty good, right? Also, Cozy's here. Cozy, do you want to defend yourself? I think Mystique is very good. I think Mystique definitely belongs up here. Maybe even higher than 8. But I think something like, I think Patriot should maybe be above Death. Maybe even Polaris above Death. Mystique is easy top 5. Yeah, Mystique is great with Devil Dinosaur. Mystique is great with Cerebro. Patriot. It's a lot of really good combos for Mystique. A lover. I got here. Why do you hate? We love you, Cozy. We said if you don't watch your daily Cozy video, you go to hell. I think that's pretty nice, isn't it?
Number 7, we've got the good dog, Lockjaw. And guys, Lockjaw just a great card that gets you going on plenty of decks in Marvel Snap. You can play discard Lockjaw, Jane Jaw, and, you know, we won't talk about it much, but even Thanos blend decks with Lockjaw. He's an instant unlock if you have some of those cards we just talked about, and you won't regret getting them at number 7.
Lockjaw's really good if you have Jane Foster, but I think Jane Foster really makes it a lot better. Or if you have Thanos, obviously, but I think early pool 3 players are not going to have that. So, I mean, considering you have those, I think Lockjaw would be like number 1 even, right? If you have Thanos, if you have Jane Foster, because then you just play Thor and you pull all the stuff. It's very good. It's very good. Yeah, Dracula should be higher. Dracula should be way higher. But Lockjaw's good, assuming you have the supporting cards, which again is why it's so freaking hard to make a video like this, because everyone has a different collection. I don't know what you have, so it's hard to make a proper judgment. Wave top 5. Wave is quite good. Wave's very good. Also just at ruining your opponents if they want to vomit, right? Not only just for Bayro or Death Wave sort of stuff.
Now, at number 6, we've got Wave, who is one of the better cards in Marvel Snap. I simply have her a little bit lower just because you do need some other cards to make her work at full capacity. If you already happen to have Arrow, they work great together. Death as well, obviously, for the Death Wave combo. Wave gives you access again to plenty of the decks right now out there in the meta. But kicking off the top 5, we have Magneto. Man, guys, I am enjoying Magneto a ton lately, especially after some of the nerfs. He's one of the premier 6-cost cards at this point. Just his effect overall can almost replace what Arrow used to do. So definitely a card that you can feel good about using the free unlock on if he does show up in the shop. Definitely one that you can plug into Devil Dino, destroy, really whatever, and he's going to do the job that he was designed for. Now, at number 4.
He's right. Magneto's really good. I do think Cozy's a little bit biased towards Magneto. Every time I talk to him, he says, Magneto, Magneto, I love Magneto. That's the first thing he says. And Coulson. It's Coulson and Magneto. But he's good. Is he top 5? He can slot in almost any deck. He's kind of like Daredevil, I feel like, where if you get him early, you just slot him in, and he's a good card to have. He was actually my last pool 3 card. It was devastating, but he's great. He's great. Top 5? I don't know about that, but he's very good. Top 7, top 10, sure.
4, I've got Electro, the other ramp card. Now, I have him higher than Wave because, simply put, Electro ramp slaps even at early pull 3, late pull 3. You can combine it with Sandman and some high-cost cards to get off rolling right away with some solid decks. At number 3, we've got the discount.
Whoa, he just went over Electro real fast. Electro's so good for ramp decks. Ramp decks are good, right? They're not amazing at the moment. They're super solid. I don't know what tier they're in. Maybe there is a tier 1, but I think maybe tier 2. You just do Electro into Galactus, or Electro into Sandman, into Doom, into Odin, but that's under the condition that you do have Doom, right? How good is he without Doom? I feel like Doom is the big one because you just spread him. You just Electro, and then you can spread them when your opponents, maybe they can't, assuming you play Sandman. So you just got Maria Hill. Maria's, she's fun. She's fun. Without Wave, Electro don't feel so good. Fun fact, Coulson was on this list, but I took him out just barely, so he's 21.
Queen, Sarah. Simply put, Sarah Control, Sarah Surfer, Sarah Miracle. You're going to use this card plenty in your time in Marvel Snap, and you can kind of find a reason to put her into most decks. Definitely worthy of a top 3 spot.
I think Sarah might be higher than She-Hulk. I don't know. She-Hulk's really good. She-Hulk's really good. She might be number 1 though, Sarah, because I feel like Sarah decks are always just solid. The classic, running Enchantress and Shang and all that stuff, and just vomiting it out on your last turn, playing Maximus and stuff. You think She-Hulk's still 1? I think Sarah's more flexible. I think She-Hulk, you need a supporting package. Like, you maybe need Wave and She-Hulk. But also just floating, doing a Sunspot into a float into a She-Hulk is really good. It's hard. It's hard. Sarah's in a lot of top-tier decks at the moment. And she's very, very flexible. Like, you can go the Surfer route. You can go the Toxic route. But again, it all ties back to your personal collection and what you have. But budget Sarah decks are really competitive. Yeah, they're really good. They're really good.
At number 2, Dr. Doom. Dr. Doom is still a great card, has been a great card, and will continue to be one. Another high contender on the list, if you have something like Electro, you can just slap them together with Sandman and have a high-performing deck. I'm not kidding when I say he can probably go into just about any deck and make it a little bit better. Because of closed-off locations, because of trying to guess what your opponent is going to do on turn 6, Dr. Doom gives you the answer. Finally,
Doom is so good. He's so freaking good. Yeah, just spreading 5/5/5. He's a 6/15. That's very good. And then getting into those locations that you can't normally reach is very useful. And then your opponent doesn't know which lane you're going to play, so they're taking a Gamba, and then you play all of them. And then if you do have Sandman down, which I believe he's pool 2, right? So you put Sandman down, and then you play Doom, and you're adding 5 to each location, and they can only play 1 card, and they get ruined, so it's incredibly good. Also in Patriot decks, yeah, if you have Patriot, then Doom just becomes even better. But you can almost slot him in any deck, even if you're not running Sandman. He's a great, surprise 6-drop in a deck that he shouldn't be in. He just wins. A leech ruins it all. I have not been seeing a lot of leeches lately. Have you guys been seeing a lot of leeches? Don't watch top 10 cards from Cozy's podcast. Should we? Leeches pull 2? Yeah, no, I mean, I haven't been seeing a lot of leeches on ladder today. Leech, Lockjaw, Thor. Yeah, Jane Jaw has Leech in it. So when I made a video on Jane Jaw, I did not put Leech in it, and I think I was doing a service to the community maybe. You don't see any leeches in Infinite. Yeah. Leech is still really good in Thor, not Thor. Thor as well. The Thor Jaw, but the Thanos Lockjaw. Yeah, She-Hulk's still good. At a 6/9, she's very strong. I've still been seeing a lot less of her, and I haven't been playing with her much personally.
At number 1, it's still She-Hulk, guys. Now, She-Hulk is still definitely worth the unlock, guys. The best part is they already nerfed her, so you know she's going to be safe in the future, at least for the time being. And it didn't do much of anything. She's still a great plug-and-play card and definitely worth the tokens. Now, one massive change you probably want to get used to is you want to look at your collection. Heck, you can look at my old buyer's guide if you want to, and see what cards you've already unlocked and what archetypes are going to be easiest for you to accomplish. You can look at meta decks out there and see which ones you're closest to be able to play on the ladder, and then you target those cards specifically. For example, you don't always get number 3 over number 5. It really depends on your collection. If you already have the Patriot, maybe you get Ultron. If you already have Ultron, maybe you get the Patriot. Or Psylocke from Mr.
Ultron Patriot used to be one of my favorite things to do. What's up, Binks? This is sped up. It's 1.25. Last time I did 1.5 and no one complained, but now everyone was complaining. And I ran a poll, and it was a 3-way split between normal speed, 1.25, and 1.5. So I went with 1.25. I think it's fair. And then if people want to watch my video faster, they can do 1.25 as well. Still an Ultron Patriot. I used to love Invisible Woman, and then you play Patriot, and then you play Mystique, and then you play Ultron. Those were the days, man. Those were the days.
Or negative, it really depends. So go look at the meta decks out there, and then go look at this list, your collection, and see what you should unlock to make the most sense. So there is your top 20, but let's go ahead and look at a bird's eye view at the archetypes, and that is where my...
Oh, good lord. He does do all his own graphics. How many hours do you guys think he spent on this? He's a mad lad. He is a mad lad with the graphics on the Photoshop. Yeah. 1.25 isn't horrible. I just like listening to Cozy's natural cadence. I listen to Cozy's natural cadence a lot, you know. What was I gonna say? I was gonna say something really important, and then it just slipped. It's gone. Just poof. It left. It left. Oh, I know what I was gonna say. Okay, if you go here, wait, what the hell just happened? Oh, this is fair. Untapped, I think it might be in their premium feature, but there's a way to see what decks you can play with your personal collection. And I thought that was a really cool thing, but I don't know if they show which ones you're missing. I can't really experiment with that because I'm not really missing many cards, but I think it is a paid service.
Make the most sense. So there is your top 20, but let's go ahead and look at a bird's eye view at the archetypes, and that is where my old token shop buyer's guide graphic still comes in. Let's say you're a big Destroy fan, simply go to the Destroy section.
This is a big old graphic. I don't know if I can run this graphic, but does he link to it or something? You could see all the cards that make a little Destroy package from a bird's eye view. Very useful. Cozy really is a national treasure. He really is with all these graphics. It's on his Discord. Okay, yeah, go to Cozy's Discord and pull this up. It's probably like a few gigabytes. It's also on Twitter. Yeah, go to follow Cozy's Twitter. Anything else? Instagram, OnlyFans?
Look at the cards that all synergize here and then pick the ones that you want to go after and target for your favorite decks. I can go ahead and link the video in the description below if you want to go get a full breakdown, or you can find it on Twitter or Discord, and I'll also put those links in the description below. Now let's go and talk pool 4 and 5 cards. And guys, this isn't rocket science, right? You want to buy Shuri with these tokens. Now, more than ever, because when she drops down to pool 3, you'll have to use your free unlock on her, and I think she's definitely the most worthwhile card out of anything to use those tokens on. But here are my updated rankings of everything that I would unlock in the order I would unlock the card.
Okay, all right. Down to the nitty gritty over here. Shuri is definitely the best. And you have to keep in mind these big bads are going to stay at 6,000 forever. You don't have to be worried about them dropping to 3,000. Like, I would be quite hesitant to spend 6,000 on Stature. You know Stature is going to drop to 3,000 here in a few months, right? So that seems a bit excessive. Unless you want the first edition token. I'd be hesitant to do that. Same thing with Ghost. But yeah, Shuri's great, especially also for that reason he brought up, where you're not going to be able to buy this for 1,000. You get a free pool 3 per month, and you don't want to have to waste that on Shuri. I guess it's not a waste, but if that happens, you have to use it on Shuri, which is fair. That's fine. But then Thanos is great. Darkhawk is really... I'm just not a big Cock fan. I think I prefer Valkyrie over Hawk, personally. I would like swap these. And then maybe Galactus and then Null. I'll fight you on Darkhawk being top 3. Darkhawk, okay, he's pretty good. You could use him with Rock Slide. Do you have Rock Slide in your collection? I think that's a big thing to take into consideration. He's pool 3 as well, right? Valk goes to S3 next season. Really? Darkhawk's your first buy? I've had Darkhawk for a while. I feel like it was better when there was a lot more Thanos aloof, but he's also good. He's good in even a Sarah deck, so it really depends on what deck you're going for. You kind of need Zabu. I think it does need a bit of a supporting package. So really, it depends on your collection.
Cards. Now with this list, what I did was look at pool 3 cards, the amount of tokens it costs to unlock, what pool they're currently in, and just how good they are in Marvel Snap. So again, obviously, Shuri and Thanos are kind of the no-brainer cards to unlock, followed by Darkhawk. I think Darkhawk, if he shows up, is definitely worth 3,000 tokens. He will be dropping pretty soon, but even now, I think he's definitely worth that price. Next, we have Galactus, who's at a ridiculous spot right now in the meta. However, they might nerf him, so it's kind of a risky buy, in my opinion. But at the same time, if they don't do anything at all, you're going to have a great card that can really climb the ladder pretty effectively. Now, Null is actually kind of tough, because here's the thing. If you have Galactus, unlock the...
He's just flexing his Kim Jacinto on us, isn't he? That's a nice
card. Don't, skip it. You're done. Get the card, right? But if you don't have Galactus, should you still get Null, especially if you like Destroy? And I'm going to say it's kind of a tough one. I think 3,000 tokens isn't that much for what he does. And in destroyed decks, man, he could do some work, especially if you do have Nimrod and some of the other cards that go well with Null. I like him a lot. He's not for everybody. But if you have Arnim Zola and you like Destroy, you have Death, he's definitely worth an unlock as well. Now, the future is going to be bright for Valkyrie. I can't really praise her enough for the job that she does. Shang-Chi doesn't work in armor lanes, and we're going to see more armors and Cosmo with just the way the meta is. And Valkyrie can still affect those high-powered cards like Red Skull. So very good unlock if you enjoy the control kind of archetype. Now, following Valkyrie, we have Zabu, Silver...
He didn't show Zabu variant. I think Valkyrie is still better than a lot of these cards. I'm very biased towards Valkyrie. I love Valkyrie. Soren is low because it's appearing that the other Shuri lists are maybe just better than the Soren list. I think when Soren was more of a new card, he was a big shocker. I think he was a bit better But now everyone just knows what you're playing if you play Soren, you know? I mean, they kind of knew in the past, but they didn't have experience playing around it, I guess.
Surfer, who's definitely a high candidate on my list as well. Best could go higher if you do love the Beast Bounce deck or you plan on using Mr. Negative. And then we have Kang. Now, Kang is a little bit of a tough one, guys. I'll be honest, because he's a big bat. He's always going to be worth the tokens. I think a lot of people are sleeping on him. He's still better than people give him credit for, but he's incredibly complex and definitely not worth like the instant unlock. There's better choices, as we've already shown. But I do enjoy Kang, and again, I'll put him in that control.
He just got this Kang variant. It's so good. It's such a good one. Kang is hard to judge, and also statistics on him are really hard to read because you don't know, like, did he help you retreat? Did he not? Did he save you cubes? Did he win you cubes? It's really difficult to judge King. But I do think he's pretty good. He's pretty good in the right deck. Also in Dracula Dump, I'm just a big fan of King, even though I don't always include him in my Dracula Dump because I know most people don't have him. So when I make videos on Dracula Dump, I don't include King for that exact reason, because people will be like, oh, I'll play this in 3 years, you know?
If you like him, that's where he kind of belongs. He's not as versatile as I once thought, but still definitely a very solid card that I would unlock at some point with your tokens. Now, to follow Kang and wrap up the list, we have Stature, who's a great card, actually, and in a very powerful deck at the moment, but she does cost 6,000 tokens. Negasonic, the new...
This Stature deck with Black Bolt and Moon Girl is incredibly good. I tried playing it on stream a few times. For some reason, when I play it off stream, I just win. When I play it on stream, I just don't draw very well. But getting like Moon Girl into Black Bolt into Stature, She-Hulk, like it is the best feeling in the world. It is so strong. And I think Stature is really going to come into the limelight later on when she drops from 6,000 tokens and more people have access to her. So yeah, we'll see.
Newest card is really good at tech, great in control decks, and so in destroy, but I think she's going to have a good spot. Just a little bit big brain and difficult to use. Soren could definitely go higher, could go lower, depending on how much you love the Zero archetype, but 3,000 tokens is not that much. But on the flip side, MODOK would be way higher if he didn't cost the 6,000 tokens, but definitely propels and supercharges the discard archetype. Black Panther is great all around and definitely is a decent card, and pretty much everything else on the list I wouldn't use the tokens on, but these are the rankings that I would give them if you do want to buy one of these.
Wouldn't spend tokens on Sentry. I think MODOK's actually quite good. Yeah, MODOK's really good. I think he's a bit underrated. Negasonic, hard to judge, has not been out long enough for people to really tell, but I think like the Dracula MODOK decks are pretty good. They're pretty dang good. MODOK's really good. Yeah, I like him a lot. I want to play more MODOK. I keep saying that and then I don't play him on stream. There's just so many fun archetypes out there that I want to mess around with. But I'm gonna circle back to Mr. MODOK soon. It's gonna be a good time. Black Panther, no one plays Black Panther. Shanna, I wish I had Shanna. I can't even experiment with her because I can't get her out of a cache. I don't own her. Ghost, I think also probably underappreciated, maybe good with Valkyrie, but it's hard. It's hard to really mess around with Ghost because I don't even want to mess around with her because if I include Ghost in a deck, people just tell me they're going to watch a different video because they don't have Ghost. Sentry's fun with the Toxic Sarah list I was playing before, but not too good. Not too good. Dazzler, yeah, don't buy Dazzler and don't buy Shadow King. I feel like Shadow King will have his day in the sun. Is that what it's called? Day in the sun? I think that's the phrase. He'll be good at some point. Maybe when everyone's running Valkyrie, you know? But until Valkyrie is in everyone's collection, Shadow King will not be too good. Day in the spotlight. Day in the, you know what I mean.
These cards. Of course, in this list, there are some gimmies, right? Depending on what you enjoy and what decks you like to play. And also, I don't recommend, maybe getting all the big bads. If you get Galactus, get Null. If you get Thanos, you can focus on something else. That's how you want to look at this list. But you can definitely take the straightforward path of always buying big bads, as they're always going to be worth the 6,000 tokens. So there you go. This is going to be the new Token Shop Buyer's Guide, the monthly video that I'll be putting out. And let me know down in the comments below what you enjoyed, what I should add or remove. And a little sad that I won't be doing these giant graphics anymore, but at the same time...
Is he really sad he's not doing the giant graphics? Do you think he's sad?
Hopefully this was concise and straight to the point on where you should be using one of the most valuable resources in Marvel Snap. Now, if you guys find yourself coming back here, go ahead and press the red subscribe button down below. It helps support me massively, and I want to thank you guys for taking your time and watching today's video. Good luck out there on the ladder, and until the next one, have a good one.
Let's see the splash. Let's see it. Oh, it's different. It's the arrow outro. Oh, wow. He almost put it in the right spot. That's a good one. That's a good one. All right, yeah, Cozy. Great job, Cozy. Yeah, everyone go subscribe to Cozy. If you're not subscribing, you're gonna go to hell. You make sure. Do I have notifications on? This isn't my account. This isn't my real YouTube account. I'm going to hell.